Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be starting on the math section of the GED with the first topic within math, basic math. If you haven't already checked out my other video detailing the best ways to study and how to use all this information, go ahead and check that out first, then come right back on here. These are the main topics we'll be covering today, and if you want to find out more detailed instruction, I'll be providing references to the specific Khan Academy videos, and you'll find those links in the description. So we'll start off with fractions and decimals in order. Say that we're given four numbers, 0.3, 1/2, 1/3, and 0.8, and that we are asked to put these in order. So for this, you'll need to know how to convert fractions and decimals. And if you're not sure exactly how to do this, the Khan Academy video that you should check out is named Converting Fractions to Decimals, and we'll link to that in the description. But to make things quick, the easiest way here is to convert everything into decimals. So we'll still have 0.3, 1/2 is 0.5, 1/3 is 0.33, and we'll move over 0.8. And if we look at these, we can see that our smallest number is 0.3, because that would be the same as 0.30, followed by 0.33, 0.5, and lastly 0.8. So a question for one of these could look something like this, and it asks, between which pair of fractions should 0.35 be placed? And we see we have a number of fractions, less than 1 for answers here. So the easiest way, we will start to convert each of these into decimals and see where 0.35 should be placed. So starting off up here with between 1/4 and 1/3, and if we convert that, that would be 0.25 and 0.33, and we see that it is not between those two, but if we move on, we have 0.33 as 1/3 and 1/2 at 0.5. And as we can look ahead and see that they only get larger at this point, so we know that B is going to be the answer. Number 2, multiples and factors. So multiples are the numbers that you get when you multiply a certain given number by a set of whole numbers. So for instance, the multiples of 5 would be starting with the multiplication of 1, and then by 2, by 3, by 4, and so on and so forth. So if we take that through, we have 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on. Factors, on the other hand, are the whole numbers that you can multiply by to get a certain number. So for instance, for the factors of 6, we will find every whole number that you can multiply by to get 6. So for instance, let's look. 1 times 6 is going to equal 6. What else? 2 times 3 is going to equal 6. And so the factors of 6 are going to be 1, 2, 3, and 6. Now you'll also run across prime numbers such as 5, where the only factors are the number and itself. There's no other whole numbers we can multiply by in order to get 5 other than 1 and itself. So an example problem here could be that Jack and Jill are opening lemonade stands and they want to make at least $20 to buy movie tickets. So Jack sells his lemonades for $4 and Jill sells hers for $3. They each need to make at least $20, but they want to earn the same amount. What amount do they need to earn? So we'll need to figure out the multiples of 4 and 3, see where they match up, in other words, the least common multiple, and we'll also need to pay attention to make sure that they're earning at least $20. So the multiples of 4 are going to be, so the multiples of 4 are going to be 4, 8, 12, 16, and 20, 24, 28, and so on. The multiples of 3 are going to be 3, 6, 9, 12, and if we were just looking for the least common multiple of 4 and 3, we'll see that 12 would be that case, but we are looking to make at least $20, so we need to continue 15, 18, 21, and 24. There it is. So they would need to each earn $24. A problem could also ask how many drinks that Jack needs to sell or how many drinks Jill needs to sell. So you take that extra step of then dividing or seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drinks for Jill and similarly for Jack. Number 3, simplify exponents. I'm going to put up on the screen the rules for dealing with exponents, but we're just going to be focusing on the first 4 of those rules. And if you need more information on this, the Khan Academy video we recommend is called Simplifying with Exponent Properties. A question that will also expand on some of these rules is this one. You would be asked to simplify the expression 5 squared times 9 to the 5th and all of that squared times 5 to the power of 4. So we can go ahead and move this squared exponent through this expression on this side, and that would end up looking like 5. So we do 2 times 2 when the multiple, we do 2 times 2 when the exponent is being squared. So we can multiply through these. So 2 times 2 is going to be 4 times 9 to the 5 times 2, 9 to the 10th. And we'll go ahead and just move this down. And then these parentheses can be dropped. So we can combine these two because they have the same leading number of 5. So it would be 5 to the 4 plus 4, then still 9 to the 10th. So that would be 5 to the power of 8 times then 9 to the power of 10. Number 4, distance between numbers on a line. So I don't think we need to refer to another video for this one. It's a pretty simple concept. Basically, if you plot out a series of numbers on a line, and we're going to go ahead and put 0 in the middle and go forward on one side. Simple, we just have numbers literally on a line looking kind of like a ruler almost, but also going into the negatives. And you'll be asked the distance between 2 points on this line. And that distance is going to be an absolute distance, meaning that it's going to be a positive number. A question could ask what is the distance between -3 and 4 on a number line? So we would just look up here and count from -3 to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 will be our distance. And yes, if you've already caught on, you can just subtract and take the absolute value of these numbers. So you could do -3 minus 4 and end up with -7, take the value positive at 7, or you could even do the reverse way, 4 minus -3, which is going to be +7. Number 5, whole numbers, fractions, and decimal problems. These problems you're going to need to remember your PEMDAS, which is the order of operations, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. If you need to review any of these order of operations steps, go ahead and take a look at the Khan Academy video titled Intro to Order of Operations. So a question is going to test your knowledge of that order of operations and ask you to simplify an expression. So here we have 8 minus 3 times, in parentheses, 2 plus 4 plus 15 divided by 3. And if we start to work through first with parentheses, we will have 8 minus 3 times 6 plus 15 divided by 3. Then we'll work with our multiplication here and division here. So that would be 8 minus 6, 12, 18 plus 15 divided by 3 is 5. And then we'll just go through 8 minus 18 will be -10 plus 5. So we round out with -5. Number 6, squares, square roots, cubes, cube roots. So as a quick reminder of what these are referring to, 6 squared would be the same as 6 times 6, which is going to be 36. And then respectively, the square root of 36 is going to be what multiplied by itself equals 36. And so we just working backwards here. So the square root of 36 is going to be 6. Now the cube is similar except to the power of 3, meaning that we'll do 6 times 6 times 6. So in other words, 36 times 6, which is 216? Yeah, 216. And then following the same pattern, a cubed root, which will have a little 3 out there because of that. The cubed root of 216 is going to be what multiplied by itself 3 times equals 216. And we obviously know here it's going to be 6. If you need some more practice on these types of problems, the Khan Academy video I would recommend is adding and simplifying radicals. I'll also note that there's quite a few different videos detailing similar subjects for the Khan Academy videos. So go ahead and look around a little bit on their page to see what else you can find if you're still struggling after the first video. An example problem could be simplify the cubed root of 13 plus 5 times the cubed root of 13 minus the square root of 13. And we can combine these two terms here since they're both the cubed root of 13. This would have a 1 in front of it since there's nothing there. So that would end up being 6 times the cubed root of 13. 13 is a prime number, so we're not going to reduce that. And then since this is a square root and not a cubed root, we cannot combine those terms. And so this is simply going to stay the same as minus the square root of 13. Number 7, undefined expressions. So for the GED, you're going to need to know two types of undefined expressions. And by an undefined expression, we basically mean a number that doesn't exist. So the first type here is going to be the divide by 0. So let's say that you have 2 apples and you want to divide them between 0 of your friends, including yourself, not even divided by yourself. Well, to say 2 apples divided by no one doesn't really make sense. So we call that an undefined expression anytime we have a divide by 0. The second type of undefined expression you'll need to know is the root of a negative number. So an example here would be the square root of negative 9, because you cannot, if you try multiplying two negative numbers together, you're ending up with a positive. If you're doing two positive, you end up with a positive, and you can't do a mix to get that square root number. So we would also call this a undefined expression when you have the root of a negative number. For example, a question could give you an expression of 2 divided by x plus 5, and it asks for which value of x is the expression undefined. And we're given a set of answers here. So we know that x, for one, cannot be the root of a negative number, because if that's anywhere in that expression, it'll make it undefined. And we're looking through the answers here, and you may think, oh, here's a negative square root. But you can see the negative is outside of the square root, which would not make it an undefined expression. It's only when it is inside of the square root or other root that you'll have that undefined problem. Anytime that the denominator of this division equals 0, we're going to have an undefined expression. So if we put in 0 there, it's just going to be 2 over 5. But if we put in negative 5, that'll make it divide by 0, giving us an undefined expression. So the answer here is B, negative 5. Number 8, unit rates. This is referring to anything like miles per hour, or possibly the price per dozen eggs, which has gone up recently. Other examples could be profit per sale, if we're talking about business. Anything like that where we have a set unit divided by or over the time span of another unit, or over the duration of another unit. For example, a question may ask, a farmer gets paid $55,000 for his corn. He has 4 fields and each field is 11 acres. How much is the farmer paid per acre? So for this, we would simply start to work through first seeing how much he gets paid per field. So we would take 55,000, divide that between 4 fields, and we end up with 13,750. Yes. And so that would be $13,750 per field, but the question is asking how much is he paid per acre. So we continue down this road with then 13,750 divided by 11 acres, and I'll need to bust out the calculator for this one. So we end up with $1,250 earned on the corn per acre. Number 9, objects at scale. So you'll have to use scale factors to convert dimensions between scale drawings and actual objects. The Khan Academy video for this one's called Scale Drawings, and we'll jump right into an example. Okay, so let's say a question gives you the dimensions of a basketball court as 50 by 94, and you're told that a miniature court has the width of 15 feet. What would be the length if the scale matches? So to do this, we will see that the 50-foot portion is going to be matched up with the 15-foot portion. We have the 94-foot portion matching up with the answer we're looking for. So 15 goes into 50 by 3.33 to get to 50. So what multiplied by 3.33 would equal 94? So we'll do 94 divided by 3.33, which we end up with 28.23. And if we think about it, we can tell that, yeah, that's probably the correct answer because it's almost double 15, which just looking at this scale, we know that the length is almost double the width, but not quite. So it'd have to be under 30, but not by much. So we have our answer at 28.23. Number 10, multi-step problems using rations, proportions, and percents. So this will include problems such as simple interest, percent increases or decreases. It's pretty tough to talk and write correctly at the same time. I'm finding that out. Another types are going to be gratuities or tips. I know I didn't spell that right. Forgive me, we're talking about math, not language arts in this one. And then finally, commissions. Meaning like, a used car salesman earns a percentage of the car that he sells. So some Khan Academy videos that you should take a look at. Anything with ratio and proportion or ratios, rates, and percentages in the title, we've got 2 of them we'll link to in the description. So I'm going to use a question that I really like off the GED website, but I've changed the numbers up some in case you run across it yourself so you can try that problem yourself. For this, I really like this problem because you need to read carefully and follow the order that they're describing. So you start off with 1074, and you may be tempted to take 7% of 1074 and 15% of 1074, add all that together and get the answer. And I'm sure that one of those multiple choice answers is going to be that. But what you need to see is that you paid a 7% tax, then a 15% tip. And I'm not sure if I read this already, but the price of your meal before tax and tip was $10.74. You paid 7% tax, then a 15% tip. What was the final amount paid? So we'll go ahead and first we need to add on this tax. So that would look like $10.74 plus we need to do 7% of 1074. So we do 1074 times, and remember if we're working with percents, then we need to turn that into a decimal, so move the decimal spot 2 places, and we'll end up with, so we end up with $11.49, $11.49 1.492. I'm going to leave an extra decimal there just to carry it through and then round off in the final spot. Another trick here I want you to know about, just to save you a split second, but you can also do 1074 times 1.07. That's going to give you the same answer, save you a little bit of time on the test. So now that we have the total amount with tax, then we need to add on the tip. So following this same method here, why not? So we'll have 11,492 times 1.15, sorry about that. And we end up with a total amount. We end up with the final answer here of $13.22. So thank you for watching. Be on the lookout for my next video on the second of the 4 topics for the math sections. Leave in a comment, tell me how great I am, and if you're really feeling crazy, throw me a subscribe as well. After that, watch these videos.